Hi everybody, my name is Ashley. I'm one of the residential hall directors here to bring you another Adulting 101 program. So this week's program is called Fact versus Fiction, and the main point of this event or this program is just to kind of help you guys understand the importance of and how to do your own research on news articles and information that you're being provided from all different sources. So now that you can get your news and your media and all different kinds of articles through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all different kinds of social media, as well as from television, newspapers, and all the traditional forms, it's really important to understand that not everyone is credible and not everyone is giving you the straight facts. Some places are using biases to either support the people that they want you to support or to make the people that they don't support look really bad. So it's really important to be able to, learn how to do these research pieces on your own and to really understand how certain articles came to the conclusion that they came to. So I have a little bit of a presentation in which we talk a little bit about how we kind of got to this point of not being able to believe the news as it is. And then we talk about some ways to help support you guys in looking up this information yourself. So let me start the presentation. Great, so here's my PowerPoint on fact versus fiction. So how did we get here? So the article that I utilized for this slide is actually right at the very bottom. It's American Journalism is Suffering from Truth Decay. The media has become more biased over the last 30 years, written by Quentin Fontrell. And this was published May 28th, 2019, so just a little over a year ago. My point in including that piece before I go into the information that's being provided is I want you guys to be able to fact check everything, including the information that I'm providing to you. I definitely went through the sources and made sure that I felt that this was credible enough, but everyone has the right to go do their own research and find out how factual they feel that it is. But the information that was provided in the article that says before the year 2000, broadcast news segments were more likely to include relative complex academic and precise language, as well as complex reasonings. However, after the year 2000, broadcast news became more focused on on-air personalities, i.e. celebrities, and talking heads debating the news. The biggest issue with that is that there's nothing wrong with celebrities coming on and giving their opinion and letting us know how they feel about certain political heads, about certain cultural items, and especially when those items or those topics revolve around that celebrity or on-air personalities' identities, right? It's really important to hear the perspective of those who are currently facing the challenges that are, hurting a large demographic of people in our country, especially when we ourselves do not identify in those categories or with those identities. It's really important to hear the perspective of those that are being directly affected. But the only issue with having on-air personalities talking as if what they're saying is 100% factual versus opinion is that there's not always a distinction between facts and opinions, right? And it's very important when celebrities go on air and they talk about what they're talking about, whether they need to make sure that they're clarifying whether they're talking about personal experiences versus factual scientific evidence. And all are absolutely important and all give you a good rounded experience and overall experience as to the topic itself. But it's really important to kind of know the difference. So traditional newspapers have made the least dramatic shift over time. Our analysis illustrates that news sources are not interchangeable, but each provides mostly unique content, even when reporting on related issues. So given that it's not uncommon for people to look to different types of media in order to get the full story. And that's 100% true. Traditional newspapers, even virtual, and even in a virtual setting, traditional newspapers definitely give a different perspective than news outlets, TV stations, or even social media news nowadays. Most Facebook users did not share any fake news articles during the 2016 U.S. presidential campaign, according to a study released earlier in 2019. The small number who did were mostly Republican identifying Americans over the age of 65, and the findings suggest that we need for renewed attention to educate these particular vulnerable individuals. So what this means is those people who identified in that group and who are over a certain age are more susceptible to misleading information. So the reason that they felt that they shared these articles is because they just believe them to be true based on what they were reading, which, as we know, is not always the case. So it's really important to be having these conversations, especially with family members who may be a little bit older, in looking into how an article was made, how was the research done, is there even any research to back it up? And by going down these routes and understanding really how an article came to be and what their sources are, that really helps to get a full image of what the point of the article was and who they were trying to impact. This is a chart taken from that same article that kind of gives a brief pinpoint of where the news stations are that you're watching or digesting or consuming in any kind of way, where they may be leaning bias-wise. This is not the Bible of it. This is not, this is just based off the findings of the study in this particular article. That does not mean that some people can't be moved a little bit in either direction, or you may feel that since 2019 they have gone further or in a different direction toward their biases or away from their biases. So again, just taking this with a grain of salt even, but this may give you a general good pinpoint as to the ways that they tend to have lent themselves to in the past, and a good way to kind of like navigate which way they may be falling, so you're able to keep looking at these articles with a non-biased eye. Some websites that help with fact checking, FactCheckorg. That is not a site in which you would put in information to kind of fact check, but instead it fact checks recent information that's come out in recent articles most frequently. Currently up on their website, they have fact checking for this most recent presidential debate. They do fact check on both sides. There is no, as far as from the articles that I have seen, there's no leaning bias one way or the other. They do fact check all different sites. So it's really, sorry about that. Ooh, going back to my article, or back to my presentation. So yeah, so it really helps with understanding recent news that may have come out or different issues that have happened. Obviously, most recently is the political debates, given our election, but they also are really good with all different standards. Hoaxslayer, Media Bias Fact Check, and trutherfiction.com are really good. You're able to put in articles or websites that you may be curious about, and they'll be able to help you with that and to find out whether they are biased or whether what they're saying is factual. Additionally, a great way for you to be able to fact check at home, meaning if you don't want to just put information to a website and you kind of want to do it yourself, is really to look at the difference between facts and opinions, right? Both are really important to any kind of constructive conversation resounding any topic that Americans face. But it's really important to know the difference, to know whether that there is a bias or not, and whether they are taking circumstantial information rather than scientifically factual information. So a fact is described as a statement that can be verified or proved to be true, whereas an opinion is an expression of judgment or belief on something. The fact is an objective reality, whereas opinion is a subjective statement. Facts can be verified with the help of evidence or statistics. Facts explain what actually happened, unlike an opinion that represents a perception of something. And facts are shown with unbiased words. However, opinion is expressed with biased words, and facts can change anybody's opinion, but vice versa is not possible. So giving an opinion does not usually change someone else's belief, but a fact can. So why is fact checking important? They're in Duke's Reporters Lab Census. International fact-checking projects increased from 64 in 2015 to 96 in 2016 across 37 countries. So fact-checking is something that's done across globally, not just in the United States. It's really important for fact-checking to be done for the wide variety of people to be able to understand the important. Fake news, as it's currently called, and other invalid content is published for a variety of reasons. Some posted to smear an adversary, while others enjoy trolling forums to watch others' reactions, and while some post clickbait in order to entice potential customers to view their ads. So regardless of the motivation, publishing inaccurate reports can have catastrophic results. The little blurb that I put right there at the end had to do with a state representative from the House of Colorado. So there was some information out there, fake information, not factual, that people were buying marijuana with their food stamps. This was just completely untrue. It was not factual. Someone put that out there. And because of the way that it was portrayed and the way that they put it out there as if this was all factual information, as if this was an accurate study, it turned into this House representative from Colorado to propose actual legislation to prevent people from using food stamps to buy marijuana. But it just never happened. It just was not true. And so sometimes what we say in the way that it's perceived, if people are putting it out there as fact, it can influence people to make real life decisions that affect a lot of people when there really is no basis in it. So I'd really like if you guys could provide me with some stories, if you have any, or articles that you're unsure about and would like me to help fact check for you. Additionally, it might be a good way for you guys to see the process that's done. I'll post them through our Instagram stories either Friday or Monday, depending when you see this video. And then that way I can kind of help support you guys in going through this process and understanding how it's done. That is my entire presentation. That's really all I have for you guys. I just want to make sure that we're all doing our best to making sure that we're verifying the information that we're sharing, especially in an age in which social media is so popular for giving this kind of information. I think it's great. I think it's wonderful that we're able to share all of this information so quickly and so easily and make sure that people are able to see all this information, especially before important decisions like voting. But it's so important to understand where that information came from and understand that sometimes there are biases in articles and not everyone is giving you straight facts as much as we would love them to. So definitely take the time to understand all of these pieces when you're talking about articles. Definitely take the time to really research the people that you're voting for, especially as a vote comes up in just a couple of days, whether you've already mailed in your ballot, whether you're doing some early voting, which is available in New York State, or whether you're going the day of. Please make sure that you are looking into the information that's being provided to you, that you're not just taking everything as straight facts, and that you are looking into the information. But with that, I will leave you guys. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week, and please vote. Thank you.